Hi guys, and welcome back to the farmhouse. Today we are outside working in the garden and we are building our container orchard. In our orchard today we are going to add another apple tree. When you are planting an apple tree in a container, you want to find the biggest container that you can. And you also need to know that this is more of a temporary situation because a container is really not going to be the best place for a standard size apple tree, which can get pretty big. So we have the biggest container I could find at Lowe's. I think this is like a 20 by 20 by something. I don't remember what. I can link it below for you. And I have filled this with potting soil. Now, anytime you are planting something in a pot, you want to make sure that you are using potting soil because potting soil is designed to help retain the moisture, but also have some light and airiness to it so that your plant's roots can grow really, really well. So, tons of potting soil. We love ProMix potting soil. I will link this below for you as well. It has been our go-to potting soil this year. Couple other things about the pot when you are growing apple trees. You want to make sure that it is very well draining. So this pot has one of those reservoirs on the bottom of it, and I've also drilled some extra holes in the bottom to make sure that all of the water drains out. I am also going to prop this up on some bricks or a paver so that the roots do not or are not tempted to crawl out or grow out of the holes on the bottom into our current soil, because then really the only way to get this apple tree out of this pot would be to break the pot, and you would probably damage the roots in the process. Now you know about the pot, so let's talk a little bit about the apple tree. This apple tree is grown on, it's bare root. It is in a little bit of soil. It's not the best soil in the world. It is in a little bit of soil, but this is a bare root apple tree. And we got this at Tractor Supply this year. It is a Honey Crisp apple tree. It was about $15, and it is grafted onto rootstock. So when you are growing really any type of fruit, your seeds are most of the time cross-pollinated. So when they sprout and they grow, they are not going to grow true to the parent plant because they have been pollinated by bees, and you can't really track where all the other pollen is coming from. So in order to get a variety that is true, you buy one that is on rootstock. It's been grafted onto rootstock and then grown. So that is what this one is. This will also produce fruit a little bit sooner than, say, ones that have been grown from seed. Another thing to note when you are planting apple trees is you always need to plant them in pairs, or not necessarily pairs, but you always need to have two that work together when it comes to pollinating. So we have a Fuji apple tree and a Honey Crisp apple tree, and they are great to work together to pollinate. So we are basically guaranteed we're going to get some pretty good fruit out of this tree. Now I'm going to get ready to plant this in the ground. The back of the tag has some great directions for you if you need some more or just want to know more about this apple tree. A couple other things to note about apple trees. A lot of times different varieties need a certain cold period in order to produce a fruit. So make sure that you are doing a lot of research when you are picking what apple varieties to add to your backyard orchard. Google is going to be your best friend in this. Type in your zone and growing apple trees, and I can guarantee you're going to get lists and lists upon varieties that will grow in your area. And on that note, there are hundreds upon hundreds of different varieties of apple trees. So just because you see Honey Crisp or Granny Smith or Golden Delicious in the grocery store, that's not all the varieties there are. We visit an orchard in Bedford, Virginia, Gross's Orchard. I'll also link them below for you. And they have so many different varieties of apples that are absolutely delicious. And we actually bought 2 of their apple trees the last time we were there as well. So don't limit yourself to what you just see in the grocery store. Try some new varieties. You never know what you are going to like. So let's get this out of the bag and into our pot. I think I overfilled this pot, so I'm gonna have to go get the wheelbarrow so I can dig some dirt out of it. You know what? I'm gonna put it right back in. Let's move this here. I'm gonna put it right back in the bag. When you are filling your pot for your apple tree, put the pot in the place in its final resting spot, because this pot is going to be very, very heavy when it has all of the soil in it. When picking a spot for your apple tree, you want to pick a spot that gets full sun. I think that's deep enough. Right, I found with the berry bushes, or actually the cherry trees, it was better to rip this bag than to try and just pull out the rootstock. I am liking this. There's actually some pretty good roots growing already. So here is what it looks like coming out of the bag. I'm going to put this in, and I want the graft, which is right here, to sit right about at the soil line. So I do need to backfill this a little bit. All right, and then the directions say to fill this with water, filling this with water to let the soil settle in around the roots. Okay, I'm gonna let that drain, and then I will fill it some more. If you are unsure of how deep to put your apple tree, look at it in its packaging before you get it, and always you can mark it with a little line and know that that is where your soil, if that's the soil line that it came in, then that is probably a good soil line for your pot as well. The water has drained out of this. I'm gonna push this down just a little bit. I'm gonna backfill this all in. I'm gonna water this again. And there we have it. We have planted our apple tree, and we will just monitor it and make sure that it is growing well. We do fertilize all of our apple trees along with our berry bushes because they are in pots and they cannot send their roots deeper looking for nutrients. So we fertilize them according to the fertilizing packaging. We use Epsoma, I'll link it below for you, but we will give all of these a good dose of fertilizer this season so that they grow. They can grow actually really fast in ideal conditions, which is what we are looking for. This here is our Fuji apple tree. You can see, and it's in a pot. This did absolutely awesome last year, and it is doing great this year. You can see lots of growth on it. We do not expect fruit out of this year. We do not expect a fruit out of this year, but we are excited that we are getting a head start on our orchard. Here are the two apple trees we got from Gross's Orchard in Bedford, Virginia. And this is a perfect example of, you might not know a variety of apple, but they are still worth trying. So this variety is called Mountain Fresh, and this is one that has been grown at Gross's. And then the other one is Kids Orange Red, which is another one that grew at Gross's. So these are varieties that are particular to them. We love all of their apples, so we are super excited about growing these. If you want to know more about growing apple trees, either from rootstock or from seed, I have some great articles on our website that you can check out. If you want to follow along on our homesteading adventures and see all of our other orchard plants, make sure that you hit that subscribe and the notification bell so you can be notified the next time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me at the farmhouse today, and I will talk to you soon.